Hi everyone, my name is Ashley, and today you are listening to the With All Her Heart podcast. Thank you guys so much for being back. I'm so excited. This is my third episode, technically my second. My second episode was a Dancing with the Stars recap. So this is my third legit podcast episode of me actually sitting and talking about something. So yeah, I'm so excited. I have been wanting to film this specific podcast for a bit. And if you read the title, today my podcast is going to be all about my testimony. And it didn't feel right doing my first legit podcast besides the intro. It didn't feel right to not make it my testimony. It is the reason why I'm sitting here recording this right now. And I don't think I would have enough confidence or courage or strength or peace or any of that if I did not have God in my life. And yeah, I'm already wanting to get emotional for some reason. No, it's a very emotional topic, but a good emotional, obviously. And yeah, it feels very full circle, and I'm just really excited to talk about my testimony. God is the most important thing in my life, and I am just so blessed to be here and to be able to sit here and talk to you guys and tell my story. So I'm going to start off from when I was little. So growing up, I went to Catholic church with my family. My dad went to a Catholic school growing up, and I think they wanted to instill some sort of religion in my life when I was young, so they put me into the CCD program, which I actually didn't even know what CCD stood for until now. So CCD stands for Confraternity of Christian Doctrine, the Catholic Church's program of religious education for children and youth who are not enrolled in Catholic school. So I was not enrolled in Catholic school. I went to public school, but I think my parents wanted me to get my first communion and confirmation and get all that done through the Catholic Church, so they put me through Catholic school. Oh my gosh, not Catholic school, through CCD. So I did that when I was pretty young, and I went through communion and confirmation, and I think that kind of ends around when you're 13. I was looking it up and it said confirmation you can do from 13 to 16. So I think I probably got confirmed around 13. So after that, I believe we didn't really go to church often, maybe once in a while for Christmas or something, but once I got older, we never went. My grandmother, which is my dad's mother, was a huge part in my life growing up, and we were pretty close. I spent a lot of time with her, and she honestly is when you just meet a certain person and they just have this light to them that no other person has, or they're just so different than anyone else you've ever met. And she truly was like that. She was just such a light. She was so proud. She was Catholic, and she was just so proud of her faith, and she just loved Jesus, and she loved God so much, and she was so strong and so proud in that. And I think I was always so inspired by that, and just so amazed how confident she was in her beliefs. And even if at that point I didn't really I knew I believed in God, but that was really all I knew in my head. I didn't really have anything else. I feel like I didn't really pay attention much in CCD when I was young, so I didn't really know a ton. And as I was growing up, I feel like she would have a lot of conversations with me, but it was just hard because I was so young, and I feel like I couldn't really process a lot then. So she passed away when I was 16, and that was really hard and really sad, and just, losing anyone is really sad, And it was just, she was like such like a fun, always smiling, laughing person, and it was really sad. She like battled cancer for a long time, and it was really sad to see her pass away. She actually passed away on my birthday, which is crazy, and it felt like some sort of sign. Like, I don't know, it was really sweet that, not sweet, that's fucked up to say, I don't know how to say it. Like, it was just, I don't know, looking back on it now, it just feels like comforting in a way that she passed away on my birthday. And this year actually was 10 years, which is crazy to even think about it. The 10 years just flew by. It's crazy. And it does make me a little sad now. I was just talking to my husband about this. Like, she would be so excited when I would show her my YouTube videos that I would make when I was 13. And she was so proud of them and just wanted me to keep making them, and was like such a big supporter. And it was sad. It was sad. It's sad now to think about. Like, I wish she was here so I could talk to her about, like, there's just so many things now that I have a relationship with God, and now that I'm actually putting everything into social media and trying to do this podcast, and like, I don't know, it's sad that she's not here. Like, it would be amazing to have her on here. And I know she would be really proud, and yeah, so she was a big part of growing up, and I think that her love for God really made me feel like I wanted that in my life, but I wasn't really sure how. And every time we would go to a funeral, I don't know if this is common for people, but I felt like every time after we would go to a funeral, I would be like, wow, I want to go back to church. And I never went to church, probably from like 13 until I was like early 20s. I never really went to church often at all. So every time after a funeral, I would just feel connected to the church after. Like, I would just feel like I really wanted to go. I wanted to do that. And I think that was God kind of like pulling me in a little and being like, I don't know, like, I just felt called to do that then. So when I was 18, I've always struggled with anxiety my whole entire life since I was a kid. But when I was 18, I had an experience that made me start getting really bad panic attacks. To the point where it was like uncontrollable. And panic attacks are interesting because it's just such an overwhelming feeling and like such an out of body experience. Like, it feels like you're dying, and it's really scary. And I hope that if you never felt one before, I hope you don't have to. And it's just very insane feeling. So I dealt with those. It was pretty bad when I was 18, when I was a senior in high school, and then probably from 18 to like 20, so for like 2 or 3 years after that, it was still pretty bad. Like, there would be times where I wouldn't really be affected, and then sometimes where it would just hit me so bad, and it makes you feel alone. Like, it makes you feel like no one else could possibly understand what you're dealing with in that moment. And it's extremely isolating. And I felt like that for a few years. And then my mom was like, look, you need to go to therapy. If you're not going to try to go on medication, you need to go to therapy. You need to do something to help, because it was getting pretty bad. So I decided to go to therapy, and I feel like talking about things, it definitely helped me get things off my chest and help me feel a little bit less alone. But it still wasn't solving my problems by any means. But I was feeling better, like I would have better moments, but I was still dealing with it at the same time. When I met my husband in 2018, when we first started dating, he was just starting his relationship with God. He grew up going to church and everything with his family. but he like had just decided to, go all in for God, and he was saved. And it's funny because when I was looking for a boyfriend, obviously, when I was like 20 years old, I just really didn't have God on my mind at all. I would like pray, I guess, but it wasn't anything too serious. So when I was looking for a boyfriend, I really didn't care. Like, I didn't have a preference if they were a Christian or whatever. I don't know. It really didn't make a difference to me. So it's crazy how God works. Like, he knew what I needed before I even needed it. So, yeah, when we met, he was just starting his relationship with God. And he was so confident in it. And it was just so cool to learn about and to hear him talk about it. And he got baptized, and I was so proud of him. And I was still very curious. I was like, wow, like, let's go to church together. Like, let's go back to your old church that you used to go to when you were young. So this story is crazy. This is where it gets very insane. So I am a hairstylist now. If you watched my first podcast, you'd probably know that. But I'm a hairstylist. So in 2018, when I met my husband, I was just starting out. And when you're first starting out training being a hairstylist, I was in a salon at this point. I would say most salons have you take models at first. So a model is just a client that can come in, get their hair done, and they pay like a very minimal amount. So they're just paying for the product. They're not paying for the service. So when I was training there, it was me and my best friend, and we were training together. And at first, my boss wanted us to do a couple trainings together, so we would work on a client together. So our first ever client we worked on together, and she was really sweet. And then I think we had maybe one or two after that we worked on together. And then that first client that we worked on together ended up going to me after. So that day I was doing her hair. I remember she was processing. We were talking a little bit. And she was like, yeah, like I just moved. I forget what state she was from. But she was like, I just moved. And my husband is a pastor at this church. And I was like, wait, like that church sounds so familiar. Like when she said the name, I was like, wait, like I think that's the church that my husband went to growing up. It happened to be the church that he grew up at. And I was just like, and at that point we hadn't gone to that church yet. We were still talking about going. So I remember texting my husband, and I was like, oh my God, like this is literally the church that you went to. Like I'm doing the brand new pastor's wife's hair right now. Like the odds of that were like so small. It was crazy. So yeah, we started going to that church and for a couple years, and then 2020 came. So that changed, obviously. Everybody knows that changed everything, and there was so much uncertainty in the world and a lot of unknowns. It was pretty scary, and I feel like I was leaning on God more than ever and like yearning for that relationship more than I ever had. So my husband started doing Bible study on Zoom with one of the elders from that church, and I was like, can I start it with you? Like I would love to do the Bible study with you. So I started doing that with them, and that was my first time, besides being like doing CCD and stuff. Like I had never actually read the Bible. So yeah, that was really cool. This is a random thing. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I remember when me and my husband were first dating, and he was in college when we were first dating. And I remember on his desk, he had like a little mini Bible, and I just felt so, like my heart felt so full. I was like, wow, like this is the man that I'm supposed to be with. That's a very random little thing, but I just thought of that for some reason. But yeah, so we did the Bible study together, and at that point I was on like TikTok had just started, so it was huge, and I was looking into I really didn't know much about Christianity at all. Since I grew up going to a Catholic church, it's different. and like non-denominational churches are very different. So it's just more like do whatever you want, wear whatever you want. Like you don't have to like dress a certain way or act a certain way or sing a certain song, or I don't know, it's very different. So I was just trying to figure out this whole new thing and this whole new culture in a way that I didn't even know before. During that time, I would say probably from like 2020 to probably like 2020, 2021, like through 2022 a little bit, I was growing my relationship with God. And that was when one of my best friends, Emily, that was when I started becoming close with her again. And she also had a relationship with God. So that was really cool. She was my first ever friend that was also a Christian that I was like pretty close with. So that was really exciting. And at the same time though, like that time was really difficult, and my panic attacks were honestly worse than they had ever been, I think. I remember going like 2 weeks and I was just like, I don't even know how to describe how I was feeling. I felt like I was the only person on this earth for like 2 weeks, which is crazy. And I could not, like, I remember I wanted to go to work. Like, honestly, I'm not a work person. Like, I would like to be at home and do nothing all day. But, like, I wanted to go to work so I could focus on something else besides what was going on in my head. Like, I didn't want to go back home because I didn't want to have to, like, sit and think about everything and be so scared to be in my own home. And yeah, there was just, like, so many horrible, like, thoughts going through my head. And now that I know that that's not from God, like those are from the devil, like those thoughts do not come from God. But I was just being attacked with so many of these like horrible thoughts, and it was just really, really scary and overwhelming. And yeah, that was probably like one of the worst like times that I've ever dealt with. And I think that the devil was really mad that I was about to embark on my relationship with God. And I got through it and I battled through it. And I just trusted in God so much that I knew that He would be able to take all of this away. And throughout that time, this is like kind of another interesting story. I have always dealt with really bad nightmares. And I would have sleep paralysis. If you guys don't know what that is, there's a bunch of different definitions for it and experiences that people have. I believe sleep paralysis is like demonic. But I was having sleep paralysis, and the way that I would feel it is it would normally happen when I wasn't getting a really deep sleep. So if I was just like taking a nap or like normally like kind of like a quick sleep, it would happen. So it happened a lot when I'd be falling asleep on the couch. Like rarely ever would I have it when I'm falling asleep in my bed in my room, which I don't really know why. But what would happen was I would fall asleep, and then you like wake up, but you're not awake. Like your eyes are closed. You like if somebody were to see you, it looks like you're sleeping. But like I can hear everything that's going on. So like I could hear the TV. If say the TV was on, I can hear the TV. If people are talking, I can hear them talking. But like I can't move. I can't speak. I can't see. It feels like you're paralyzed. And something's like trying to like keep you from getting up. It's very weird. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like it's really hard to get yourself to wake up out of it. So I would get that all the time, and it's like it would scare me. And sometimes like once in a while, like I definitely don't get it as much as I used to, but once in a while, like it's like I wake up out of it, like I'm like freaking out, like I'm like can't breathe, like it's a lot. It's really a crazy thing. So I was dealing with a lot of that stuff for years, and I had been researching like dreams and like, is there any prayers that I can do to help with my dreams? Nightmares, I guess. And people were saying that if you pray, so I started praying and asking God at night, or if I was about to fall asleep and take a nap or something, I pray to God and ask him to rebuke the demons from my dreams in Jesus' name. So that is what I always say, or what I always pray. So I would pray that prayer every time. I still do it every single night before I go to sleep, and I do not have any nightmares. I do not have sleep paralysis. If I get it, it's like once in a blue moon, and I used to get it all the time. Like God literally took that away from me. Like, I do not have to deal with nightmares anymore. I do not have to deal with sleep paralysis anymore. Like, I don't have any of those things weighing me down anymore. Like, I'm like excited to go to bed at night, and I don't have to feel like worried. So that was a huge thing for me. And when that started happening, like, at first when I started doing the prayer at night and I would forget to do it, I was having really crazy dreams. And I think that was because obviously the devil was so mad that I was really trying to go to God for this. And yeah, I would get like really crazy dreams. And the more that I pushed through and I kept doing the prayer at night, and I would do, I mean, that probably started in probably 2020 at some point, maybe 2021. And once I started doing that, it completely changed. It's crazy. Like, I did not expect it to even work, to be honest with you. Like, obviously I was hoping that it was going to work and take it away. But now that time's gone on, I'm like, wow, like, God literally took that away from me. And it's just amazing, like, that I feel I'm free of that. Like, I just don't have to deal with that anymore. And, like, just small things like that can really, like, add so much anxiety and stress to your life. And if you haven't dealt with it before, you're probably, like, with a sleep paralysis thing, you're probably like, what are you even talking about? Like, that's so random. Like, there's so many more things you could be scared about. But I'm telling you, if you have to deal with it, like, it's actually very scary. So yeah, I'm just so blessed that God took that away from me and that I do not have to deal with that anymore. And there's been so many times now where I even forget to do the prayer at night and I'm good. Like, nothing's bothering me. If anything, I'll have, like, once in a while I get a dream that I don't love, but it's definitely not anything like demonic or scary. It's just like a crazy dream at night, but it's not anything really scary at all. So that is such a blessing, and God is just so good. Like, I can't believe that. I'm just like, I can't believe that he did that. And oh my gosh, there's so much. So once I started realizing all those things, I was like, wow, like, and when you have those moments where, like, that moment I was talking about the pastor's wife, it's like, those are God working in your life. Like, that's God showing you, like, look, this is the plan that I have for you, and you're following it. That's how I look at it. Like, this is God's plan for me, and I'm following it. And he is showing me all these things that I'm on the right track, and it's not just a coincidence. It's literally God. So after I started feeling all that, I was like, wow, like, my relationship with God was growing. And around 2022, it was like towards the end of 2022, I decided that I wanted to work at a different salon. So I've been working at the same salon since 2018. And I had just been, looking up a few different salons. I didn't go on any interviews yet. And then the salon that had followed me, like, months, like, probably, like, it could have been a year before that time. I think I saw that they posted that they were looking for a hairstylist. And at the time, I wasn't ready yet. It was still a little too soon, and I just wasn't ready to leave there yet. So then a few months later, they posted again, or I saw it on Indeed or something. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just reach out and see if they're looking for hairstylists still. Like, it wouldn't hurt to reach out. So I reached out and they were. And they are also, the owners are also Christian themselves. And that was something that I was like, wow, this really feels like this is God giving me this. And I remember at that point, I was reading my Bible all the time. Like, I was reading it every single night. I was really trying to. And I was just giving literally everything to God. I was like, I can't do any of this. Like, I know that you can do all of this for me. Like, I'm literally giving all of my anxieties right now and my worries and my stress to you. Like, I know that your plan is better than anything that I could ever come up with. And then I found out that I got the job and I was so excited and I just felt God so deeply during that time. And a couple months later, I got engaged. And even during that time, like, I was so stressed out. Like, am I getting engaged? Does he even want to marry me? Like, just all those crazy things that, like, we go through. And I was just so excited when that did happen. And I just felt God, like, you don't hear a voice when this happens, but I just felt God, like, telling me, you know how you just get that gut feeling? That's how you thought, wow, that's how I feel. Like, I just felt God being like, relax, like, this is your time. Like, I just had this gut feeling that I was going to get engaged and then I was going to get the job. And so that was, of course, like, such an exciting time in my life. And that was, oh my gosh, that was like 2 years ago now, which is crazy. It went by so fast. And yeah, ever since so when I started working at the salon, I was going through a lot. It was a really hard transition. It was really scary. There was, just starting a new job in general was really scary. And I was very stressed and I started praying because even before that, like, I really struggled being a hairstylist and it was really, really overwhelming for me. And I felt like I had to figure it out all on my own. And if my client didn't like something, it felt like the end of the world. And it was just a lot on me. So I started praying. At that point, the only time I'd be praying was at night. And I started praying on my way to work every day. And I would just ask God to give me peace and to help me feel his presence and to help me to just stay focused and to, all of those things. I would just ask God to give me so much peace during those times. And as the time was going on, I was like, wow, you're literally showing me, like, I'm starting to not even, like, be anxious anymore. Or, like, if I do have anxiety, it was just starting to not feel as heavy on me. And the opinions of my clients and it just wasn't affecting me the way that it used to. And it's crazy because now I'm, like, of course I love being a hairstylist, but that's not just, like, my whole entire life. And I think for so long I felt like if I failed at being a hairstylist that I was a failure. And I feel like throughout this past couple of years, I've just learned that I'm not and that I'm so much more. And that no matter what happens to me, that God is always with me. And it's such a beautiful thing. And with anxiety and with anything and of course, like, my life is not perfect. I think that's a huge misconception when people become saved and they become, like, they're just saved and now their life is different because of God. I think a huge misconception is that their life is perfect and that they're perfect and that they're better than everybody else and all these things. And I mean, you can think that if you want to, but that is very far from the truth. God God doesn't promise us that our lives are going to be perfect. He promises us that He will always be with us no matter what we go through, and that we do not have to do anything alone, and that we can put all of our anxieties and our worries and everything onto Him. And I'm always, I still deal with panic attacks. I still have anxiety and social anxiety and all these things that I deal with on a daily basis, but I don't have to do it alone anymore. So now it's coming full circle for me. If I did not have the relationship with God that I do right now, I would not be sitting here recording this podcast. I would still be sitting downstairs watching other people do it, which I've done for years. And I have prayed to God, and I've just trusted Him, and I'm giving Him everything. You don't understand how anxiety-inducing it is. I just don't want anybody else to see this, I was talking about that in my last podcast. I always struggled with people that I know seeing my videos and seeing my TikToks or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, this is what I want to do, and this is my passion, and I'm not going to let other people's opinions make me not do that. And I don't have to do this alone anymore. I have God literally right by my side. If that touches your heart in any way, I always felt like I was doing everything on my own and I had nothing. I was just so empty and alone inside, with anxiety, and I feel like I was almost turning into depression with the amount of panic attacks and anxiety I was having. And now it was getting to the point that life felt so dark. It was I remember this one moment specifically, it was summer and everything was beautiful and I was supposed to be so excited and happy, and I felt so horrible. And I know so many people can understand, and I'm very blessed that I have you listening and that God is here with me on this journey. And yeah, that is my testimony, and that is where I'm at now. And yeah, so now we're starting this new chapter together. Yeah, I'm so excited for all of this to come, and I would have absolutely nothing without God. And I hope that my testimony, I hope you enjoyed it, and this is just my story. And if you're listening on YouTube and you would like to share your testimony, please put it in the comments. I'm pretty sure you can comment on Spotify and Apple too, so if you would like to share yours, please share it in the comments. I would love to read it. Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm actually gonna go cry now. I said that in my last episode, but I'm gonna go cry now because that was so emotional. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to my 3rd episode of this podcast. I'm so excited, and thank you guys so much for supporting me. And yeah, I just can't wait for what is to come. So thank you guys so much. I will see you in my next podcast. I love you guys. I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.